Well, hello. Good afternoon. Welcome to another Fiction Express webinar this week. My name is Maria, and today we are going to cover the curriculum alignment of the platform. I will start sharing my screen. So you are going to be able to see my presentation on the left and the Fiction Express platform on the right of the screen. I wanted to just start by sharing the information about the series of Fiction Express back to school webinars that we have launched to help schools and teachers get the most out of our platform. You might know already that the platform has many functionalities, and each day this week we are covering a different element. Monday, we explain what Fiction Express is and how to use it. Tuesday is the admin panel, how to add and manage classes, teachers, and students. Wednesday, which is today, is dedicated to curriculum alignment. We work with schools that have different curricula, but they share many common objectives, which most of them we meet. Thursday is for tracking what data we can obtain from the platform and how. And finally, on Friday, we will talk about different international qualifications and the specific alignment with them. Please remember that these webinars are focused on how to use the platform. Some people here have been subscribing for a long time. Some are just starting now, and some are still in a free trial period. Therefore, please, if you have questions about your subscription or prices or anything like that, please ask your contact person. You can also email us support@fictionexpress.com. Here, today, we will focus on how to use the platform and get the most out of it. If you miss any day of these weekly webinars that we offer, you can still register for next week's webinars and just attend the one that you need. If you have questions, you can use the Q&A function below, and we will go over questions after I finish at the end. So let's expect 20 to 30 minutes of presentation and then some questions if we have some. So we thank you for being here, and to honor your time, we are going to begin. So Fiction Express is an innovative book platform that connects students with professional authors, encouraging reading for pleasure through an interactive methodology that we have here on screen. Through the literacy, we target all the linguistic dimensions. So we work on reading comprehension, written expression, and also ORC. The approach is done through the books and the activities that we have, considering that in the very act of reading, all dimensions are worked on. Our objective is to provide you, the teachers, with all the necessary tools to develop on your students' language and literacy skills, knowledge and aptitudes to develop not only social, academic, but also personal growth. Every skill that we work with, it's done cohesively with the reading, the writing, and the oral opportunities that we provide. We do it through the 6 steps that you see on the screen, going from comprehension to expression. So we want them to produce the language and the literacy skills. We want them to talk about them, discuss, share, express themselves, because that will ultimately show us that the language has been mastered. We also include ORC in this development because we consider ORC the combination of all the content that is being taught at school, but also being able to produce it and use all the linguistic dimensions that we've been working on. And not only with peers, but also with teachers, and in our case, with the professional authors, because they have to interact through many different activities. I will show you today how we meet the literacy standards through the different steps. If you have any questions about how to use any of the steps that I'm showing you, I really recommend you attend Monday's session because that's the session where we go through every step and how to use it. So we are going to start with the reading comprehension and all the reading opportunities that are included in the platform to work and deepen comprehension. We start with this because our starting point are the books. So from the reading that happens in the platform with our virtual books, everything else right after. So it's a good way to start. Okay, so for the reading comprehension, we divided it in 3 parts. One will be the before reading, then we have the during the reading, and then we have the after reading. So I will explain each of these different opportunities, and I will show you the platform as we go. So for the before reading, I want to show you here, if we click on the books that are coming up next week, you will see the introduction to the book through the book cover. We have a little synopsis here. We have the project sheet because we want to give the teachers an advance of what they will be working on for the next few weeks. But we also have the author video. So in the author's video, we can see, I will show you here, but I will stop it. Well, it doesn't play. But here the author, in this case herself, presents the book, gives information, some information about it. And the goal here is to engage students in participating in the co-creation of the book with her. So by putting the face to the author, it's easier then to interact with her. This also helps with the comprehension of the story, because now they know how the story has been created, where it's coming from, why it's going the way it's going. So it is a listening activity, but it's full of context clues, and it's a really good Jamboard for prediction. So it's from here they can start making predictions right now before even the book gets released, about what is the story going to be about. With the synopsis that we have here, which the teachers can read aloud and discuss in class, we ask teachers to do it because this way we motivate them to ask the questions about what to expect from the book, what will they like, what do they know about the subject, what they would like to know. So all of these different type of questions about a book that hasn't even been released helps with the comprehension that will be deepened later. Bringing up that prior knowledge also helps with the comprehension of the story. So maybe they already know something about, clowns, so in this case, they can also bring personal experiences into the discussion. And then we also have the reading, after discussing the voting options from previous chapters. Here I will remind you how it looks. So these are 3 options from a book that we have in the summer. And in this case, students don't only vote after reading the chapter, but this can also be a way to activate prior knowledge. So if we are using Fiction Express on a weekly basis, I can use the voting options from last week to revisit the ideas and the opinion that we have about the book. And that way it can be a good starting point for the following chapters. So all, these 3 activities before reading really help with setting up the context for the book that they're about to read. Then we have the during reading. So in this case, we have the audiobook. We also have the interactive glossary, and also we have literal comprehension activities. So in our world, we call that the audiobook, the glossary, and the quiz. So I'll show you on screen. This is what the e-reader looks like. If you pay attention up here, we have a little speaker icon, and that's how you access the audiobook. So working on the comprehension of the book with students that are on level, if they can read this book by themselves or listen to a teacher read it, that's great. But we also give you the option of having the author read the story. Every book is different. Every author is different. So the way to expose them to different genre, from like the person reading the book, or different accents or intonation styles, also helps them with, understanding the story better. All the words that are here and are underlined, it's a way to develop vocabulary as well. This is what we call the glossary, and it's interactive because they can just keep going if they don't have a problem with meaning, or if they understand what the phrase means. But if they need support with meaning, they can click on the word and they will get a definition in context. These will provide them with the necessary information to continue reading the book. They can also find the word in a dictionary, but our goal here is for them to be engaged with the book, to get the necessary information in order to understand a new word and continue reading. Okay, so they can, teachers can work or expand the vocabulary later after reading, but during the reading, this is a great way to give them the information they need. And then we can also find in the platform the quiz. So here I have one ready. The quiz gets literal comprehension questions. So it's a multiple choice. They always have 10 questions. And a really good thing we have here is that they can access the chapter while they're doing the quiz. Many teachers do that, but we also suggest that they can work on the quiz while they're reading the story. So they don't have to do one thing after, they don't have to do the quiz after the chapter has been read. They can also do that simultaneously. We work here the evidence retrieval skills. We want them to go back. We want them to ask questions about doubts that they have while reading the book. Learners do get a score after completing this quiz, but it gives them a different like they really feel the quiz have to be done correctly because they have the chapter with them. So it's not about memorizing. It is about going back to the story and finding that evidence. We now have the option, it's new this year, that teachers have the option to hide the answers of the quizzes until they're done taking it, so they don't go around the classroom sharing the answers. So, I hope you already know about the quiz because this is something that we've shared on Monday on the presentation, on the webinar. So during reading, I cover the audiobook, the interactive glossary, and the quiz activities that focus on literal comprehension. Now, this is a great tool for teachers because we know that if they go back to the story and find the evidence, that's like a step for basic comprehension. And now we're going to move to the more inferential type of comprehension that really gives teachers a good measure of how much they are understanding the story. So for the after reading opportunities, we move from literal to inferential comprehension. So here we have for example, the set of activities always include 6 questions that work on critical thinking and higher order thinking skills. So students have to answer these 6 questions. It's optional, but we encourage teachers to do it. These questions cover a lot of skills. Sometimes they have to extend the story. They always have to justify their answers. There's a lot of whys in these. As you can see, there's a lot of why type of questions. They have to explain point of view. They have to criticize sometimes what characters are doing in the story, or they are asked about, like, how will you do it if you were that character? And sometimes they even have to go back to the book and find grammatical structures that they will later apply when they're working on writing expression. So it's only 6 questions per chapter, but it's really complete, and they really work on many skills when answering these questions. And don't forget that they're also open-ended. So here we can really see what they think about the story and what are they understanding about it. So it's not a multiple choice. They're open-ended. It's very very appropriate for the type of activities that we have. Then we also have the forum. The forum, in my opinion, is the perfect way to develop critical thinking, because they not only use the knowledge that they're gathering from the book, but they also use prior experience, personal experience, things that they went through, and they build from there. Here, the author posts a couple of questions each week, and we go from different type of of texts or answers. Sometimes we want them to be persuasive because the author wants them to convince him, in this case, about something. Sometimes they have to be descriptive about something that they went through. Sometimes they have to explain something that happened in the book, so it will be more like a narrative or something that happened to them. We know that the forum it's a very obvious written activity, but we decided to include it as part of reading comprehension, because with no reading and not understanding of the story, there will be no forum, there will be no participation, and we really encourage them to participate in this practice of the forum. Okay, so here you can see this is a level 3, so the answers are very long and the author replies to them. So this is really where the interaction, and they also work here with different type of registers, because it's not the same answering a question posted by a peer than from an author, or replying to an author comment. And then we have the guided reading notes, and this is something that sometimes is hidden, so I like to show it because as a teacher, when I was in the classroom, I really needed this type of tools to guide my students through books that I might not have the time to read, or that I really needed to focus on a specific skill. So these guided reading notes is a resource to help teachers guide large groups or small groups discussions about the book. On them, we provide teachers with very specific ideas on how to go through the understanding of the story. I know teachers that use these for groups of readers that are struggling, or even for EAL groups or for SEN. So this is a way to support and guide them through the comprehension of the story. Sometimes it's about rereading a part of the book, or ask specific questions that will guide that comprehension of the book. So these notes are always on the activities. This is the very first page of each activity packet that we have every week. So don't forget about them. And last, we have project activities. We work with, we try to do it as cross-curricular as possible, but we also continue working on every dimension of language, every linguistic competence, and we like it to be not always something that has to be oral developed, but also we want them to write, and we want them to have debates and discussions. So it's also very very oral, these activities. So they do weekly tasks, which when they put together a final project gets to be showed, and they have to present that to the rest of the class. So here we have many different skills: working collaboratively, research, they have to work on the presentation. So all of these help support the comprehension of the story that we are presenting to them. So let's move on to the written expression. So we check the reading comprehension, and now we have the opportunities to work on the writing based on the books that they're reading. So again, I have the forum here because working with different types of text and asking them to change the register that they're using for writing is also something that we promote in the platform. So the forum allows them to analyze text and continue working on the co-creation, because the opinions and the ideas and experiences that they share in the forum sometimes are used by the authors. We do have, as I mentioned, very specific questions in order to collect ideas to include in the following chapters. This area allows them to not only interact with the author, enhance their written expression, but they also have to work on their digital behavior, and they have to work on the register, as I mentioned before. Here we work from argumentative, descriptive, narrative, and even expository texts. So I will go back to the form so you remember how it looks like. And here we also have different levels. So let me show you a level 1. So you can see how active our readers are and how many times the author is replying to them. And we have learners from a lot of different communities. Then we have the book review. With the book review, this happens at the end of the book. It's an activity in which the student really defends his or her point of view. They have to provide arguments and justify their ideas. We do provide a guide for argumentative types of writing. It's on the platform as well for the teachers and for the students, but this is a perfect way to also change the type of text that you're working with, and also have a type of formal assessment, because teachers can mark this assessment and give a grade to the students that are completing it. It's a great way to teach the structure of argumentative texts. And last, we go back to the project activities. These, as I mentioned also, they foster research, they foster collaboration among students, the use of context to extend situations, they work on different type of texts. I like that sometimes in the activities we have dialogue, we have poetry, they have to use persuasion to convince someone to do something. Sometimes they have to write a set of instructions in order to achieve something. So really, they are being exposed to a lot of different skills with weekly activities, that they just think they're reading, and they're doing a lot more things than reading. So here I'm going to show you for this particular chapter. At the very, very, very end of the packet, we have the project activity. So in this case, they had to put these events in chronological order, and then they had to add 2 more. So this is an extension activities, and teachers can also adapt these to the needs of their students. Maybe the extension is not necessary, just by putting the events in chronological order is enough. Okay, so teachers have the freedom to adapt the activities to the needs. And now we're going to move on to ORC, which is the last area of the linguistic development, tied to the literacy skills. So we, similarly, like we did with the reading comprehension that was split on the before, during, and after reading, in ORC, we identify what we consider the comprehension and then the expression. So we want to separate all the reception of the language from the production of it. So for the development of the oral comprehension, teachers mostly use the audiobooks. Some teachers also use reading out loud techniques for the quizzes. So maybe playing the audiobook while working on the quiz. Some teachers like to read the quiz questions out loud and then they play the audiobook. So different types of opportunities here. What I love about the audiobooks is, like I said before, is that the author is the person reading the audio. So it changes for every book. And I like that they're being exposed to different accents and different types of expressions. So we also have the weekly activities set in which we find materials to keep working the topics of the books, proposals to work in groups, to be collaborative, to work on dialogue, and also to reinforce teamwork, which is very important in the class. And then I have debate there because I think that through the different activities, we offer a lot of opportunities to open up discussions in class, to allow them to express their ideas and feelings and opinions about the books. And they also learn a way to be respectful for other peers' point of view. So great opportunities here. And then for oral comprehension, I know that I showed you the votes before, which I'm now showing you again on the screen. So some teachers do individual voting, but some teachers like to do the collective one. And this is another opportunity to get together and talk about the book and have a debate where shared negotiations and respect for others are practiced. Also, the topics of the readings are very current, so this gives room for more current type of debates, and they can also, always keeping in mind that the level of the books matches the issue that we're talking about in the book. So through debate, we encourage teachers to talk about what's going on in their families, in their classroom, in their town, in their city, and so on. Being argumentative about the things that they say and share, but also always thinking that we have to continue cultivating this critical thinking spirit. Okay. Through these projects, we promote the collaboration among the students too. So there's plenty of oral expression opportunities for them to work on. So as a way to sum up everything that I just shared with you, we have this chart that shows how for all the areas of language and literacy development, we have specific areas in the platform that will help you achieve those standards and meet those goals. We do have the 6 steps here, but they of course repeat. So you can see all the orange for the activities, because we really think that the activities and projects really work on many skills. We couldn't list all of them because we will never end. And because each book is different every cycle, then there are some skills that maybe won't work on the previous book, but they're going to be worked on the future one. So just to sum up, here we have a way of visually showing you that through the platform and the activities, we work on all the reception of language. We provide the opportunities to start getting all the skills that they need to be successful at school and in life. But then ultimately what we want to see is that they start producing the language, that they start using the skills that they need to continue their literacy journey and to get to that interaction, which really tells us that the skills have been mastered and they are able to talk about them and explain to others and share opinions and arguments with other people. And with that, I will open it up for questions about the things that I shared. So I'll give a few minutes. We're right on time, so I will wait a couple of minutes. So just to recap, we did talk about the reading comprehension opportunities. I also shared some written expression. And then we talked about the ORC, splitting it into the oral comprehension and the oral expression. I don't see any questions coming up. So again, if you are later tonight at home and you get a question for me, just email us at support@fictionexpress.com and we will reply to you. So thank you so much for your time. All the best for the school year that's just starting, and we'll see you around. Don't miss the next webinars. Bye.